Today is day 58 of the podcast, and I'm not in Columbia, I'm in Wisconsin. And I've been talking about the pillar of fire leading the children of Israel out of Egypt to the wilderness, through the wilderness, and then to the promised land. I want to take us now to a New Testament version of this. And when the Holy Spirit comes upon Jesus at his baptism, immediately after the Father says, "This is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased," we see in both Matthew 4 and Luke 4 a description of Jesus's temptation in the wilderness. It's a long description of each of the three encounters that Jesus has with the evil one and how he overcomes the evil one in each of those three. But even as the Spirit led the children of Israel to the wilderness, we see the dove, the Holy Spirit, leading Jesus to the wilderness as well. Jesus is tempted in the wilderness. It's the same kind of location that the children of Israel found that they were tested. God takes them out and begins to test them on whether or not they will obey his word and begin to trust him. Jesus has already given himself to the Father. In Hebrews 10, 5 through 9, at the time of the incarnation, he said he gave himself to the Father to come and do the Father's will. And we see that put to the test and Jesus succeeding. Now, for every year that Israel spent in the wilderness, Jesus spends a day and triumphs over the works of darkness and over the works of the evil one. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 1 through 13, we are specifically called to learn the lessons from Israel's bad example. We are being taught in Corinthians we are to learn from their failures. But now as we read the New Testament and we read the account in Matthew 4 and Luke 4, we're to learn how Jesus is victorious when he's put to the test, when he's tempted, and during his days of trial. We're supposed to learn from him. Go clear back to the beginning. Adam and Eve failed the test. When temptation and their day of being tried took place, they failed. We have a whole portion of the Old Testament that rehearses Israel's failures, particularly when they're in the wilderness. They failed in their day of trial. Jesus now, as God the Son and Son of Man, is going to show what true sonship does when it's put to the test, as he shows and models for us how to obey the Father. Now, his way to victory is what we're going to pursue learning in our next couple of lessons. But here's your question. Has the Holy Spirit ever led you to a wilderness? Has the Holy Spirit ever led you to a barren place, or what would appear to be a barren place? Do you know why?